How are you doing, students and parents? Hope you're doing well. This is writing again with looking at verb phrases, adding auxiliary or helping verbs to our verbs, so there's more than just one verb. Just like prepositional phrases have more than just one word in it, verb phrases have more than one verb in it. So this is a worksheet. It's a little complicated. I've done the most difficult of the sentences for you, but go ahead and try the other ones, map them out, your subject predicate, your prepositions, and then look for how they've changed the timing of when actions actually happened by adding some auxiliary or helping verbs to the original or the base verb. So we're going to continue our writing complete sentences by adding verb phrases. Now we know what prepositions are. Okay, so we've been adding those to our sentences. Now we're going to add a verb phrase, and a verb phrase changes the timing of when an action is going to occur. Okay, now you may say, wow, that sounds complicated, Mr. Budinger, but let's look at some of these verb phrases. They're very small and very common words that we use all the time. Do, does, did, has, have, had, may, might, must, can, shall, will, could, should, would, is, am, are, was, were, be, being, and been. These are called verbs to be, by the way, over here, and we'll not get into that just yet, but we could put these verbs to be right over here. We'll look at that a little bit later on. Okay, the main verb is the last part of a verb phrase. So this is relatively important that you have a main verb over here, and all the auxiliary verbs or helping verbs are going to be on this side. So they've made a little equation here. The verb phrase, now here's the complete verb phrase down here, is equal to a helping verb or an auxiliary verb or verbs plus the main verb. So a little bit of math down here representing the statements. So you could just have the verb learn to read. Or you could have the helping verb, I will learn to read. And both of these would be verbs. This one being the main verb and this one being the helping verb. And that's what they show over here. They show the helping verb over here plus the main verb, learn. Could have brought. I could have brought my lunch on the bus, but I forgot it. Okay, so again, it shows a little bit of time of maybe this is something that could have happened in the past to change the future. A little bit of time difference here. Brought is the main verb, okay, and could have are the helping verbs. So there can be more than one. So down here, let's look at the directions. Separate the subject and predicate. Okay, so the subject part is the noun that's doing the action, and the predicate part is the actual action. So this is the verb part, and this is the noun or subject doing that. Maybe I'll use an S over that for the subject. And the predicate part is the verb and everything after that part of the sentence. So it identifies the sentence in half. It divides the sentence into two parts. Identify the preposition with a P and its noun N. We've had that before in the past. Circle all of the prepositional phrases, and we had this before. So now we're looking at verb phrases, verbs that have just not one verb, but maybe some helping or auxiliary verbs that are connected to it. They aren't a complete sentence, but they add a little bit more information to what we're trying to get across when we're writing. Let's look at number one. I'll do number one as an example. I do love to bake during the afternoon. Okay, so what would be the simplest part here for you to do? For me, it would be the preposition during, because I'm so much familiar now with our 40 prepositions. So I'm going to say this is the preposition. Here's the noun over here. So here's my prepositional phrase. And I is obviously the subject. There's nothing else we're talking about here. I Do love, well, well, do is not, do is up here as one of our helping. Do love to bake. Oh my goodness. I'm glad I picked this one because this is kind of a hard one. So we have do love and to bake, both in the sentence. And baking is, loving and baking are both verbs. So we're going to take this in. Remember the main verb is going to be at the end. So here's our main verb. And here's our helping verbs. Do love, to bake. So all these are verbs. Oh my goodness, this one has 4 verbs in it. I do love to bake. I'm glad I picked that one. This is a relatively complicated one. Would you like me to do one more? Let's do maybe one of the ones at the bottom here. One of these longer sentences. Everyone except Annie will be leaving by bus. So someone's leaving on the bus except Annie. So who's doing the leaving? Everyone is doing the leaving. Annie is the exception. Another complicated one. Everyone except Annie will be leaving. So here's our main verb right here. By bus. Here's our preposition and our noun. And I'm wondering if except is one of our prepositional phrases. Except Annie. Everyone will leave. I think it is. Might want to check that. Let's go ahead and see if that's really the case. I'm going to look back at my prepositions, my list of prepositions. You should have that. And see if except is on there. And it is. Oh my goodness. So this is a preposition and this is a noun also. Everyone is our subject. Leaving is our verb, and here's our helping verbs, or our auxiliary verbs right here. Maybe it would have been better if I'd done this here too. Up here. So these are not easy examples, and I hopefully have taken the worst of the examples here to map. And try and do your best with 2 through 8, and then try number 10 down here. The bread had been broken into 3 chunks. This one's an easy one. The bug has bitten you on the arm. You may come with us. Isaac might have crawled under the table. Very easy right here. Mrs. Park should clean above her oven. Okay. They are going through the tunnel. I shall eat before the play. This means a play like a show, not like playing a game. So give this a shot. It's a little bit difficult. We're adding something that's hard. But if you remember, in riding a bike, it was very difficult in the beginning, and prepositional phrases were difficult in the beginning, and you've gotten pretty good at that. So let's just go ahead and tackle verb phrases for week 23. Good luck.